The arrest of Freddie Gray happened in the West Baltimore neighborhood of Gilmor Homes. I spoke to the city councilman who represents that neighborhood, Nick Mosby.
At the end of the day, I'm frustrated of having this issue pop up over and over and over again. Again, you know, there's circumstances around why Mr. Gray was originally even pursued, detained, and arrested. And I think that's a lot of the information that folks just really want to understand and know the bottom of this. You know, we've worked really hard in the city of Baltimore, specifically in my district. We've done these enough is enough rallies to kind of bring the police and community together. And I know that incidents like this only pushes us further apart. It kind of grows that chasm and that skepticism and distrust for the police and the community. And it's critically important that we develop ways of not doing that. And again, you know, this particular incident, all it does is exacerbates the distrust in our communities.
Well, I want to ask you about that because some of the most compelling images from Baltimore are images of children holding signs, even taking over the bullhorn and talking to the crowd during some of the protests we've seen. Tell us about the children of West Baltimore. They grow up with violence around them. So what is this next generation going to look like?
Well, change always begins with our youth. I mean, not just here in Baltimore, America, but across the world. Through history, we've seen that. And, you know, West Baltimore kids are no exception. I think that they know that this is a pivotal time. They know that it's critically important that they step up and that they communicate their frustration and anger towards a system that they feel is completely on the outside of their upbringing. So I think, you know, having children stand up, having children stand out, leading the pack is important. Just want to make sure we do it in a very productive manner. And, you know, my hat goes off to the youth of West Baltimore who have been doing so thus far through all the rallying. It's been very peaceful here. It's been very productive. They're definitely sending a clear message that their voices ought to be heard. You know, these are kids that are faced with, you know, social, economic, and systemic issues that have plagued these communities for decades. But they understand and know that right now is their time to act, and right now is their time to voice their concerns, and they're doing it.
But some other people might look at those photographs and the video and see these kids and think that the distrust of police starts at a very young age.
Oh, it does. I mean, everything that is shaped in us starts in a young age, not just distrust for police, but our eating habits. I mean, no matter what we do in life, it all has a foundation to when we were young. I mean, the one thing I would say about the images that you see is, you know, they're selective images. You know, I've been at the rallies the past 3 days. I left last night about 10:30. And what I will say, the majority of the children, the majority of the folks who are participating are really there just to truly exercise their voice and in the pursuit of answers and in the pursuit for justice for Freddie Gray.
We just heard about Baltimore City Police and other police departments in the United States paying millions of dollars every year to settle claims of police brutality. Is what happened to Freddie Gray an isolated incident, or is that just part of a pattern here in the United States?
Well, we don't really know, and I think that's what folks are really trying to figure out, you know, exactly what took place. And until we understand and know all the events that took place and all the actors and folks that were involved, it's really hard to tell. I mean, what we do know is that the communities like West Baltimore all throughout this country have a critical issue as it relates to trust for the criminal justice system, specifically with police. And it's critically important that we develop ways to bridge that gap. I mean, there's a huge chasm, and incidents like this only further divide us. But there's no way for us to have a quality criminal justice system without the community involved. The community are the witnesses, they're the jurors, they make up the criminal justice system, and to really go after the violent repeat offenders, the folks that are causing havoc in our communities, to continue to produce and grow our communities in a productive way, we need the community. And incidents like this, again, just further exacerbate that distrust, and that's why we need to come together as a community to continue to try to rebuild that trust.
All right, Nick Mosby, Baltimore City Councilman, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your perspective.
Thank you for having me on.